Today I want to analyze one of my favorite scenes from Dead Poets Society, the most meaningful to me personally, and I think it's one of the greatest directed scenes in the entire movie, both in terms of camera movement and in blocking.
Mr. Anderson thinks that everything inside of him is worthless. I think you're wrong.
A yaw.
No, not just a yaw. A barbaric yaw.
Yaw.
Oh, good God, boy, yell like yaw!
There it is.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close them.
The sweaty-toothed madman. The sweaty-toothed madman. His hands reach out and choke me. And all the time he's mumbling. What's he mumbling? Mumbling truth. From the moment we enter crying to the moment we leave dying, it'll just cover your face as you wail and cry and scream.
Just to give a quick rundown of the entire film, basically it's set in an old-fashioned boarding school where many rich kids go, and it's a really prestigious school that prides itself on nurturing talent and creating professional, upstanding people. But in reality, it's really rigid and focused on obedience instead of free thinking. We followed a group of boys from the new class and their English teacher, who preaches the total opposite of what the school teaches them: to become independent thinkers, to live meaningful lives, and to confront their fears in order to live fully. This scene in particular is about one of the boys called Todd, and his biggest insecurity is public speaking, putting himself out there, fear of judgment, embarrassment, humiliation. This scene is about him overcoming that fear and taking the first step in the right direction.
I see a sweetness in her smile. Bright light shines from her eyes. But life is complete, contentment is mine. Just knowing that she's alive.
So the scene starts with one of the students giving his presentation, giving his poetry reading, which is about the girl that he's pursuing in the film. And the scene isn't about him or his struggle. The first shot of him basically just serves as establishing the conflict of the scene and what it will be about. We see that he's positioned in the center, all eyes are darting towards him, and this really wide shot with so much empty space here, like basically all of these corners are like super empty. It's all in the service of making him feel isolated and small and just like being the center of attention in an uncomfortable way. And this first shot conveys that perfectly. It's also important to note that during the opening of the scene, we stay in these wide shots. We never go to close-ups or medium shots because the director is consciously saving those shots for the most impactful moments of the scene. There's one camera angle change, but still the effect is the same. We see a full shot of the speaker and all of the students in the classroom as well. It's all in the service of just setting the stage, the situation, which is a situation with the potential for public humiliation, where you need to face your fears and step in front of people and let your voice be heard without embarrassment. Something which the student who's cowering in the corner isn't really ready to do.
Mr. Anderson, you're sitting there in agony. Come on, Todd, step up. Let's put you out of your misery.
So throughout the scene, we will see, as we just saw here, that Keating's character always leading the camera. His movement, his body language, his gaze even, always guides the camera. And that camera motion will become a metaphor for him breaking through the inner walls and psychological blockades that Todd's mind has. When Keating starts moving towards Todd in the corner, we see that the camera actually pushes in, also just isolating them and just trapping Todd in the situation. He wanted to avoid it so much that he isn't even in the opening shot. He's hiding from the audience himself. He's hiding from the audience because he doesn't want to be in this scene. He's like so avoidant that he doesn't want to be in the scene. But Keating, of course, leads the camera towards him, and we get this medium shot of them, and lo and behold, we get the first close-up of Todd just basically agonizing in his desk, looking up slightly at Keating. So it's important to note that the camera angle is slightly facing down, so it's a high angle shot, And the reverse shot that we get of Keating, which is also a close-up, is the same. It's also that's a low-angle shot, it's emphasizing their power difference. Keating has the power, but not in the sense that he will exploit that power, but he has an authority that Todd needs to go along with. But that's a good thing, because Keating wants the best for him and to bring his best out. Also, having a close-up with them isolated emphasizes to the viewers that this scene will be about them. This will be about their conflict, their dynamic.
My sound, my Eric, yelp. The rooftops of the world. W, Uncle Walt.
Again. Now, for those of you who don't know, a yelp is a loud cry or yell. Now, Todd, I would like you to give us a demonstration of a barbaric yelp.
So we return to the wide shot that the scene started out on, and we see that Todd is dragged basically to the same spot where Knox started out. But what we notice that, he doesn't want to be there, that he purposely avoids the space where the speakers should be standing, and he just waddles to the side, to the right side. He's trying to avoid the spotlight even with his movement. He just doesn't want to be there. And Robin Williams, Keating, has to step in and take control again to push him to break his limits, basically, to face his fear. So Keating has to step in the spotlight and just again use his infectious energy and zealousness to bring energy to Todd and push him so that he can face his fear. And also it's important to note that in the opening shot there was no Keating in the shot. Knox was just alone and humiliated and just in a really uncomfortable spot. But we see here that Keating treats Todd differently, in a way that he knows that Todd needs his support more than Knox. So when he drags him to the shot, he's with him there. He doesn't step out, he doesn't just abandon him there. He, again, just through blocking, the audience can feel that he's such a supportive, such a great teacher, that he doesn't abandon his students. He knows how hard this is for him, and he stays with him in the frame. And also important that by returning to the opening shot, which also the audience remembers subconsciously, they associate this shot with Knox's awkward poetry reading and the giggles and laughs that the classmates gave to him. And they associate this shot with humiliation, something that Todd also associates it with, and he fears it happening to him.
A yelp.
No, not just a yelp. A barbaric yelp.
Yelp.
Come on, louder.
Yelp.
Oh, that's a mouse. Come on, louder.
Yelp.
Oh, good God, boy, yell like a man.
There it is.
You see?
This is again a great shot. We move into a two-shot of them, and Keating basically acts like the angel on Todd's shoulder. He's just in the background, pushing him to stop bullshitting, to stop trying to get out of the assignment, and to yelp, to yell, to let his classmates hear his voice. And I also love the blocking idea that he's standing back, because he knows that Todd doesn't have a problem with yelping at him, because Todd trusts him, he respects him, and he knows that Keating would never humiliate him. But the real courage, the real test of Todd's courage is about letting his voice be heard towards his classmates, towards the class. And as you see here, he's looking up, looking back at Keating, closing his eyes as he's saying it. Ethan Hawke is such a fantastic actor because he understands it. Like Todd as a character, he can't yelp, he can't say those words towards his classmates. Now, this is my favorite part of the scene. We arrive to the favorite part, where I think camera movement and just blocking work perfectly together to just tell the audience and invest the audience into Todd's mindset. And I will just let the scene play out, and I just want you to think about two things. What happens when we see the classmates in the back? What happens when we don't see them?
Get away that easy. Picture of Uncle Walt up there. What does he remind you of? Don't think. Answer. Go on.
A madman.
What kind of madman? Well, think about it. Just answer again.
A crazy madman.
Oh, you can do better than that. Free up your mind. Use your imagination. Say the first thing that pops into your head, even if it's total gibberish. Go on. Go on.
A sweaty-toothed madman.
Good God, boy. There's a poet in you after all. There. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close them. Now, describe what you see.
I close my eyes.
Yes?
And this image floats beside me.
Sweaty-toothed madman.
A sweaty-toothed madman with a stare that pounds my brain.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, give him action. Make him do something.
His hands reach out and choke me.
That's good. Wonderful, wonderful.
And all the time he's mumbling.
What's he mumbling?
Mumbling truth.
Yeah.
Truth like a blanket that always leaves your feet cold.
Forget them, forget them.
As you could see, I think you could figure it out. Every time we see the audience, the classmates in the background, that's when Todd freezes up. That's when he makes up the easy answers. That's when he doesn't answer. And every time when they are not there, that's when his mental blockage just clears. And he can come up with the really poetically genius stuff that he's starting to spit here, basically. Again, Keating motivates the camera. Keating initiates this spinning motion that perfectly just gets across the idea of being so anxious that you're almost dizzy, that the world is spinning around you. But also, it kind of transforms into this feeling of a flow state, because there's no cut, there's no nothing. It's just Todd and Keating in a flow state. And yeah, there are these moments of hesitation when the classmates and the thought of humiliation and just other people enter into Todd's consciousness and basically into the background too. But this spinning camera motion is just so perfect. The camera also pushes in on them. Like everything in the background is even more out of focus. Everything is fading. Todd is finally entering flow state. He's becoming less self-conscious, and it's kind of like they go through a dimension gate. I don't know. That's kind of funny. It just, that's how I think about it. Like when the camera goes in and they spin, and the camera again pulls out at the end. There's something that already shifted in Todd, and the fact that there are no cuts just adds to everything. Like it really feels like you're in the flow state with Todd, and that's when the cut happens. It's the best thing ever, because as Todd hears all those laughs, all those giggles, all those sounds of humiliation, that's when he opens his eyes and there's a cut, and we are jolted out of all this energy, all this flow state, all this just transformative energy, all this motion. There's suddenly a cut, and all of that breaks. But Keating immediately lunges into the frame, like he doesn't leave Todd alone, and closes his eyes again. And this is why it's such a perfectly directed moment, because even the smallest little cut is there to perfectly mirror Todd's psychological state and what's going on in his mind, and when the interruptions happen and when he gets into flow.
Like a blanket that always leaves your feet cold.
Forget them. Stay with the blanket. Tell me about that blanket.
You push it, stretch it, it'll never be enough. You kick at it, beat it, it'll never cover any of us. From the moment we enter crying to the moment we leave dying, it'll just cover your face as you wail and cry and scream.
From a meek, shy person, he just for a moment, he transforms. And Keating finally, noticing it, sensing it, he steps out of the frame and he leaves Todd in a close-up. Like I'm getting goosebumps, man. I don't know. I just really love movies. and just him stepping out, like the gigantic words of Yop behind Todd, it's also like framed in. And notice also the shifting from the beginning of the scene. The first time we see Todd in a close-up, he's looking up, and he's looking up to Keating. And by the end of the scene, all of that is flipped on its head. Keating is the one who's kneeling down in admiration, in amazement, and just like admiring this moment of beauty. And Todd is the one who's standing up, and the camera looks up at, and it's just perfect. I just love it. this 5-second silence is what gives this scene so much weight, I think. That Todd manages to, by being himself, by trusting himself, he manages to shut all those voices that were constantly laughing and giggling in the back of the class up. And there's like total silence. And it's just amazing.